This pilot had flown over deserts hundreds of times, but this was different. Below, in the middle of nowhere, stood a building abandoned, forgotten. No roads, no signs of life, just a ruin where no ruin should be. But that wasn't the strangest part, because what the pilot and his crew discovered became a huge news story. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any news stories. Jack adjusted his headset, scanning the endless dunes below. His job was routine: aerial surveys, mapping, nothing exciting. Until Emma, his geologist, leaned forward, eyes locked on something. "Jack," she said, her voice sharp, "look at that." He followed her gaze and felt his stomach drop. A structure in the middle of nowhere. Jack banked the plane for a better look. The building was real, 2 stories, weathered, crumbling. But why was it there? More importantly, why were there fresh tracks leading in and out? Someone had been there recently. He felt a familiar tingle of curiosity. "We have to land." Jack hesitated. "It's not on any map," he murmured. Jack's grip tightened on the controls. He sighed. "Fine, but if this turns out to be a bad idea, I'm blaming both of you." The plane touched down on the soft sand, and the ruin loomed ahead. The moment Jack stepped out, something felt wrong. Emma took a step toward the ruin. Jack's gut told him to stop her. Instead, he exhaled. "All right, let's see what we've got." The tracks leading in and out of the ruin meant someone had been here recently and that someone didn't want to stay. The desert didn't hide secrets for long, but Jack had a feeling this one was meant to stay buried. The tire tracks weren't old. The wind should have erased them, but they were sharp, fresh. Jack looked at Emma. "Let's be careful." She nodded, stepping toward the entrance. Jack followed, one last glance at the tracks that shouldn't exist. Near the entrance, something made Jack stop. A footprint, half buried in sand. Not a boot print like theirs. Smaller, lighter. Emma noticed it too. "That's not from the same person who drove here," she murmured. Ravi swallowed. "So, 2 people? One by car, one on foot?" Jack exhaled. "Maybe. Let's find out." Jack turned back to the horizon, following the tire tracks with his eyes. They stretched toward the dunes, disappearing into the vast emptiness. Someone had come and gone, but something told him the real mystery was inside. He turned to Emma and Ravi. "Whatever's in there, we don't leave without answers." The desert heat wrapped around them as Jack climbed out. The sand beneath his boots felt soft, too undisturbed, except for the tracks leading to the doorway. Ravi adjusted his pack, eyeing the ruin. "Place looks like it should have fallen apart years ago." Jack nodded. "And yet, here it is." The building was old but standing. Cracks ran through the faded concrete walls, and jagged glass framed the broken windows. A rusted metal door hung crooked on its hinges. But something stood out, no dust on the handle. Jack's fingers twitched. "Someone's been here," he muttered, "and not long ago." Jack reached the entrance, heart pounding. The doorway yawned like a black hole, swallowing the sunlight behind him. Inside, there was no movement, no sound, just silence. Emma pulled out a flashlight. Her voice hushed. "Feels like we're stepping into a grave." Jack swallowed. Maybe they were. The moment Jack entered, the air changed. It was cooler than it should be, thick with something stale, old. Dust swirled around his boots. The walls were lined with faded maps and peeling papers, as if whoever had worked here had left in a hurry or had been forced to. Jack shone his flashlight across the floor, eyes narrowing. The dust wasn't untouched. There were scattered footprints leading in different directions, some older, nearly erased, but a few fresh enough to still hold shape. His stomach clenched. "We're not the first ones in here." Emma's light flickered. "Maybe not the last either." Jack's beam landed on a desk in the corner, paper strewn across it. A mug sat half-tipped, its contents long-dried. A coat draped over a chair, like someone had meant to come back. Jack took in the scene and drew a slow breath. Whoever was here last left in a hurry. Emma swept her flashlight across peeling maps and yellowed papers. "It looks like a research facility." Jack picked up a faded document. The words had blurred, but one phrase stood out: "Groundwater anomaly detected." "They were studying something underground," he muttered. A notebook lay open on the desk. Its last entry hurried. "They told us to leave! Shut it down! But we know the truth." The filing cabinets stood empty, their contents removed in haste. "Whoever left took the most important things with them," Jack said quietly. But why leave everything else? Emma's flashlight caught new footprints leading toward a door. The half-open passage revealed a narrow concrete hallway. "We didn't come this far to turn back," Jack said, pushing forward. The corridor stretched deeper than expected, cold air seeping from unseen vents. It didn't match the building's structure. At the end stood a storage room, its door slightly ajar. Inside, rows of crates and boxes filled the space except one, left open and empty. Beside it lay a small photograph, sun-bleached and cracked. Jack turned it over. A man, a woman, and a child outside the same building. On the back, Daniel Whitmore. Emma froze. Whitmore is my mom's maiden name. Before she could process it, a low rumbling sound broke the silence, an engine, approaching fast. They ducked as a rusted SUV skidded to a stop outside. A lone man stepped out, face shadowed under a wide-brimmed hat, moving like he knew this place. From the vehicle, he pulled a long object wrapped in cloth. Then he started toward the entrance. Jack signaled for silence. The man stepped inside, his boots crunching on sand. Then he stopped, eyes locking on Emma, his face twisted in disbelief. "That's impossible!" She froze. "Do you know me?" His voice was low, wary. "Who are you?" "Emma Whitmore." The name drained the color from his face. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered. Emma studied him, her pulse quickening. There was something familiar. "Who are you?" His reply was barely audible. "Daniel." Jack's breath caught. "Daniel Whitmore?" Emma's heart stuttered. Daniel looked at her, regret clouding his eyes. "You don't know who I am. You're related to my mom?" "Your mother, Sarah," he said softly. "She's alive?" "Yes," Emma answered. His shoulders sagged. Jack spoke carefully. "You disappeared decades ago. Why?" Daniel's expression hardened. "I stayed for the truth." Emma frowned. "The truth about what?" Daniel turned toward the crumbling walls. "They wanted us gone, the people who built this place. When we found out what they'd done, they shut it all down. I stayed to make sure it wouldn't stay buried." Emma's voice trembled. "What happened to everyone else?" "The company erased them, destroyed the research, silenced anyone who knew too much." His gaze darkened. "Including me." Jack stared at him. "You've been here all this time?" Daniel nodded. Watching, waiting, hoping someone would come looking. His eyes met Emma's. "I never thought it would be family." Daniel turned toward the back of the ruin. "I need to show you something." Emma hesitated. "Show us what?" His voice was steady. "Why, they wanted this place erased." Jack exchanged a look with Emma and Ravi. Whatever lay ahead was far bigger than they had imagined, and there was no turning back. Daniel led them deeper into the ruin, his steps slow but certain. Jack exchanged a glance with Ravi. Daniel exhaled. "When this place shut down, they made sure no one would talk. The others vanished. I was supposed to be one of them, but I survived." He opened a rusted cabinet, revealing dusty folders. "I was a researcher here for years. We thought we were studying desert expansion, but that was a lie." He flipped open a yellowed file. "We monitored groundwater levels until we noticed something strange. The water was disappearing too fast." Ravi frowned. "Drought?" Daniel shook his head. "Contamination. We found toxins that shouldn't exist. A corporation was funneling waste underground, poisoning what should have been a fresh water source." Jack's stomach turned. They were dumping illegally. Daniel's tone hardened. "For years, the land dried up, crops failed, and towns suffered. When we exposed it, they silenced us." Ravi's voice was low. "What happened to the others?" Daniel looked away. "They disappeared, relocated, or worse. I ran before they could find me." Emma's throat ached. "Mom thought you were dead." Daniel nodded. "They wanted her to think that. If I'd gone back, they would have killed us both." Jack frowned. "So why hasn't this place been demolished?" Daniel gave a bitter smile. "Because it still hides the truth. As long as no one asks questions, it stays forgotten." He led them to a rusted metal door. They took most of the files, but not all. Jack pushed it open, and dust filled the air, revealing rows of shelves stacked with boxes. "Everything they left behind," Daniel said. Inside were folders, samples, and photographs. Jack flipped through a torn notebook and froze at a hand-drawn map covered in red markings. "This isn't the facility," he said. Emma traced the page. "The dumping grounds less than 2 miles from here." Daniel's tone was firm. "Then that's where we're going." They set out into the desert, heat pressing down as sand shifted underfoot. Wind whipped around them as they neared the site. Ravi brushed away sand, revealing a rusted metal lid. Daniel's breath caught. This is where they hid the worst of it. Jack pried it open, revealing a dark pit below. The air reeked of decay. They stood in stunned silence. "We just found their biggest secret," Emma whispered. Jack lifted his camera. "Then let's show the world." They documented everything – the barrels, the files, the proof of decades of deceit. Jack uploaded a short clip, his caption simple: "They lied. Here's proof." Within minutes, the post gained traction, comments flooded in, outrage spreading fast. Emma's phone buzzed. "It's spreading," Jack exhaled. "Good, but we're just getting started." Emma's phone rang. Her mother's voice trembled. "Emma, what have you done? Everyone's seen it. You're in danger." Emma's stomach twisted. "We're exposing the truth." Her mother's voice wavered. "Then be ready for what comes next." Soon, headlines exploded. "Illegal waste dumping scandal uncovered." A government statement appeared. "An independent investigation is underway." Emma exhaled. They're feeling the heat, but Jack wasn't satisfied. "We need action." Protests erupted nationwide. Executives resigned, and some faced prosecution. Daniel whispered, 40 years too late, but justice is justice." Environmental reforms followed new regulations to prevent future cover-ups.